I'm going to be perfectly honest with all of you. I am incredibly tired. I have been going non-freaking stop all day for the last bunch of days. And in the morning, I'm driving from Indiana to Florida, which is a super long drive. So we're going to do this a one-taker. One take, my highs from the direct, my lows from the direct, my reaction to the direct, and why I think I'm just doing directs wrong. And maybe you're doing them wrong as well, or maybe you know how to do them right, but we're going to talk all about it. The 9.4.19 direct is in the books, and it was 40 minutes of fun for some people. There were definitely good moments, and one of my favorites actually took place after the direct, tongue-in-cheek. I'm wearing an Xbox shirt, kind of like Sakurai himself when he was like, hey, Banjo-Kazooie is available to play today on Xbox One. I super thought he was going to say Switch. I wasn't expecting Banjo to hit today in Smash, and I wasn't expecting Banjo to be on the console, but the way he set that up, it killed me, man. He set it up so good, my eyes got so wide, and then he let us down. Let me know in the comments down below if you liked the direct, or if you were let down, how you felt about it, what your overall grade would be for this direct. Score it. Take it to school. Let me know how it comes out. And hit that like button if you enjoyed watching the direct today with me, if you had fun watching it by yourself, wherever you watched it, and if you're ready for the next one. I'm going to hit the like button 6 times because I'm ready for the next one. Okay, anyhow, I told myself I wasn't going to get hyped. You probably saw my video before the direct about 10 games that you'd see there and how I was keeping things in check. And I did a pretty good job. Like, I got some string. Ugh, okay. This is really a one take. String in the mouth. I kept things in check. Really, I'm going to put this down. I kept things in check. And then I got to the direct and it all fell apart because I was so pumped. 40 minutes of Nintendo action. How can you not be screaming inside? And for some of us, how can you not be screaming outside? I was so hyped, and there were so many interesting leaks and rumors, and I guess the best thing to do is probably just stay oblivious to all of that, because 2 things happen. 1, you lose out on the best surprises that actually happen, and 2, you lose out on overhyping yourself for surprises that don't happen. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think I can't help myself with that hype before directs. Do you feel like that? Do you get like that? Like, even if you tell yourself, I'm not gonna build the enthusiasm, I'm not gonna set myself up for disappointment, the direct rolls around and you're like, it's gonna be Pikmin, it's gonna be New Mario Sports, it's gonna be a December game, and then none of it happens. Highs from the direct. What do we have here? I think Obra Dinn is a really cool get as Nintendo continues to build the best indie platform probably ever. I remember back in the day when the PlayStation Vita had really cool indie titles. It is no contest to what the Switch has already established, and they continue to add big, awesome, huge, fan favorite games. It's like they build on it over and over and over again. They've got original titles, and then they'll add Hollow Knight, they'll add freaking Into the Breach, they'll add Obra Dinn. They're just building together Guacamelee, freaking Ori and the Blind Forest, Inside, Little Nightmares. They're just building this ensemble that will be the relic of the indie space for this decade, and it will be a museum of mastery. So I thought that was awesome. I also cannot deny that I'm excited for SNES games. For some reason, to me, they are just leaps better than NES games. It's the era that I grew up with most. I remember coming home from school and my mom surprising me and my little brother with an SNES. We had freaking Donkey Kong Country 2, which I'm so sad isn't here. I really thought DKC would be a part of this initial batch, but I hope that it comes soon. I really do. Those are some of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and it's sad to see them there. I think this list is a little bit lackluster on the periphery. The central games are there. Mario World, Mario Kart, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Stunt Race FX. But they're missing some of like the, I guess what you would call the next tier of SNES games. So hopefully they continue to add those at a pace faster than 2 to 3 a month. But I'm super pumped to check those out. And they're out like in a few hours. So that's awesome. I thought Little Town Hero looks cool. And I love that it's a $25 game. Did you know that? It's out next month for $25. eShop only, $25. And it sounds like Game Freak is doing something very interesting where the focus is on boss battles and that they're trying to be conscious of your time. It's really interesting. If you go to the pre-order page on Switch, you'll see that they say it is for like the time-conscious gamer and that they want to give you a condensed story boss battles, no grinding, and get after it. I'm super curious to see what their ideas are in a brand new world. And you're going to be fighting with ideas. So it sounds perfect. Luigi's Mansion 3 continues to impress and look amazing. Those Egyptian floors, that Dance 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 floor, I'm over the moon about that game. I really am over the dark moon about that game. And I thought, like, hey, it was very cool at E3. I liked it, but it seemed like, hey, the hotel's going to be great, but maybe this game will be a little bit smaller in scope. No, I think they're blowing it out. I think this is a stealth game of the year option on Switch. Maybe even for everything, because single player has been not a focus. It looks so good. And that new multiplayer mode, which is basically like Super Luigi Party, he was like, hey, Mario Party doesn't have enough options, doesn't have enough boards, doesn't have enough games. We'll give you Super Luigi Party. 4 Luigis, 4 Gooigis, get after it, have fun. I like that a lot. A lot. So those are probably the highlights for me. And notice that not many of them are new. I mean, Oberdin is new to Switch, and SNES games are new to Switch, but they're very old. And then the updates to Luigi's Mansion look fantastic, but that game has been announced for many moons. And Little Town Hero is new in terms of like the details, I guess, and the release date. And it's great that it's coming out soon, but we knew about it. And in terms of what was brand new at this show, it had such an Eastern focus, such a Japanese focus. And maybe that's the smart move, especially with the Switch Lite releasing in just a few weeks. You know, that's going to be very popular because the Asia is like the portable zone. So appealing to them, I guess, more so makes sense, and the JRPG fans out there. But if you step back and look at how RPG-centric this entire Direct was, it is bonkers. It's bonkers. Everything from Tokyo Mirage Session to Little Town Hero itself, The Witcher 3, Xenoblade Chronicles, which is the finisher. Now that one, no matter what, I know some people are excited for that game, but you can't tell me that that isn't one of the lamest one more things Nintendo has done in a Direct in this era. They usually, like, what? Do you know what the last one more thing was? Do you remember at E3? Breath of the Wild 2. And we followed that up with the second remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles. Remember, it was also on 3DS. I have the cart. You can play it handheld on 3DS. Obviously, the graphics are much improved this time. It looks very nice. That bummed me out as the final piece of this Direct's puzzle. I was hoping for Pikmin. That was my low, by far. One more thing. We just sat through 5 minutes of Animal Crossing rehash, which I don't understand. I feel like this Direct was overextended. It could have been like a 15 to 20 minute Direct, and instead, it was 40 minutes with a lot of fluff. Like, they rehashed Animal Crossing for 5 minutes. Why? Do they think we didn't see the E3 stuff? We sure did. Animal Crossing is pretty anticipated and pretty hyped. But it wasn't new. And then Pokemon, like, why was that even there? Why? I like the 2 new guys. I think they're cool. The customization looks fun, but they didn't show Star Evolution. They didn't really reveal any, like... Well, I guess Pokemon Camp is neat. Pokemon Camp is kind of cool, but it's just a side feature. That segment could have been saved for Twitter, honestly. But I'll okay that one because it's their biggest game of the fall, and they want to get some details there. But everything else, like the Trials of Mana segment, and maybe it's just me, like, for some people this could have been the best Direct ever. It did not appeal to me. And I think part of the biggest reason is that extreme JRPG Japanese focus. Even Deadly Premonition, which is a really crazy and frankly cool get. It's a very niche game. I felt like this was niche Direct. Like, you had to be super into what they were showing. There wasn't a lot of wide appeal outside of the stuff that they'd already shown. They did another segment on Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which is the sports title that I don't want. Although the story mode looks kind of neat, and I'm interested to play those pixelated mini games. Those look fun. I love Big Bowser hanging out there in his old school Mario Bros. Style. Looking choice. I like that a lot. I just did not like what was new on display. I'm down with the fall lineup, but even the Kirby free-to-start game, like, Kirby boss battles are alright. Just not so much for me. What was for me was the Direct that I had imagined in my head, and even though I tried to keep my emotions in check and I tried to keep my hype at a controlled level, I let it get to me. And I think it's time that I just shut out all of the hype and all of the rumors. Because Overwatch would have been one of the coolest gets at this Direct, but it was spoiled and confirmed before the show even started. A new Smash Bros. Character, I'm not the biggest fan of Terry Bogard, but getting that reveal, would have been cool. The trailer was super neat. Banjo coming out, that's a nice drop. That's a big surprise. And I forgot to tell you one of my best highlights of the show, which is that Sakurai is bringing more Smash Bros. Characters after the Fighter Pass. That's freaking sweet, because here's what I think. Little prediction. I think that the Fighter Pass is their third-party packet, and then I think after that they go back to Nintendo. I think that's our chance to get some of the characters we really wanted in the original roster from Nintendo games. I feel like Sakurai is really on board with this 5-character, support the other developers, publishers, companies, series, franchises, characters idea, the crossover concept, and then maybe afterwards, perhaps the reason it's not part of a Fighters pack is because they're just going to give us Nintendo characters. And I would love that. And if in hindsight we look back and say, this is the moment where we got Waluigi, like he was birthed, then it's all forgiven. But for now, this Direct, it was not, in my opinion, a good one. I think it was very lacking. And I think I have to stop reading Emily Rogers telling me that there's going to be a Wii U port for 2013 and a game in December, because then you're envisioning this calendar and you're envisioning these ideas that just aren't going to come true. And I know that every rumor, every leak is not going to materialize. That would make no sense. But when you think that some of them are, it just kind of makes the show suck if it doesn't happen, you know? Do any of you feel like that? Are you paying attention to these rumors and leaks and then they don't come true and you're just left feeling a little empty? Like that 40-minute show, you're waiting the whole time for the big rumors, the big leaks, and they don't come in, so then it just kind of makes the show seem flat. There were some highlights. There really were. It wasn't my personal favorite. It was probably my personal least favorite because I don't like the games and the genres so much that they focused on. But speaking on a more broad stroke level, I think the reason this Direct felt so lame to me is because the leak and rumor cycle for Nintendo Directs has gotten out of control. And it puts us in a position where, I mean, there's one outcome where Nintendo delivers and everything else feels like a letdown. And I do want to speak on that for a second because I feel like Nintendo, I don't know. We're obviously not entitled to anything. They can give us whatever. But remember that we have to buy the games. So when you want something from the Direct, it's okay because you have to buy it. If Nintendo was gifting all of this to us, then yeah, I won't say a word. I won't say it was bad. I'll just take it and smile. But remember, we buy everything they put out. So if you don't like their lineup, it's okay to be frustrated because you have to buy it. And I'm not going to go buy a remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles or a port of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I bought those games at least once, and I don't want to buy them again. So it's okay to be disappointed because we invest in them. We buy their products. And if you don't like what they're putting out and you don't want to buy it, and they're not giving it to you for free, then you have every right to say, this wasn't the show for me. And I can't imagine being Nintendo and having this treasure trove of IP and these beloved franchises and series that people are begging for. And then you put out your big fall direct and your big third-party announcements are Doom 64, Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Rogue, and Jedi Knight 2. Now, that one to me is just so funny. I'm going to play that one. That's so dumb, but I'm going to play it. The graphics are not improved in any way. The gameplay will feel archaic. There's freaking Fallen Order on the other consoles, but you and me, we're playing Jedi Knight 2, and it's out in a couple of weeks. That, to me, that was so funny. I'm glad that Star Wars is coming to the Switch in the form of pinball, and Jedi Knight 2 is just so weird that that's the game that we're getting. There are times where this console feels super forward-thinking. They're doing neat stuff. They're putting out amazing games. And then there's times where it feels like this literally is a museum. We're getting Deadly Premonition, Jedi Knight 2. What is going on? What the heck is going on? No Pikmin, okay? No December game, right? No Mario Strikers. No Paper Mario. But you got Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's just so weird. It's just so weird. And it takes time to get those games. I'm sure eventually we'll get Pikmin. I'm sure eventually we'll get a Paper Mario. It's just like, man, it would have been nice. Especially because we don't know much about 2020. We know that Animal Crossing New Horizons is coming, but they gave us no new info. They just said, hey, let's rehash E3. They like legitimately straight up told us, let's rehash E3. Who says that? Who says we're going to rehash what we did? Like, at least act like it's new. At least act like you got some. I mean, maybe they shouldn't act. Maybe they should just actually give us new info. There's an idea. But 2020 is still a mystery. You know, maybe Breath of the Wild 2 hits at the end of the year. Maybe that's their big holiday title. Metroid Prime 4 isn't coming. It's coming, it's just not coming in 2020. So if you're going to load up January and February with these JRPG ports, and then March is going to be Animal Crossing New Horizons, you gotta start talking about more. So now it's like, this is where it's so bad, because now it's like the January Direct in my head is going to be huge, but I gotta stop thinking that. I gotta focus on what exists, what is real, what I can play, and have fun with that, because there's so darn much. There's so much to play. So we're going to wrap this up by cataloging and remembering that it's still a phenomenal year for Switch, and it's still a phenomenal fall. Nintendo Switch Lite, Zelda Link's Awakening, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Luigi's Mansion 3, Little Town Hero, Hollow Knight Silksong, Celeste Chapter 9. There is so much to play. Blasphemous, Creature in the Well, Bloodroots. There is so much to play. Ori and the Blind Freaking Forest from Microsoft on Switch. This is the year that Nintendo and Microsoft paired up to put games on the system. So as much as I'm bummed, as much as I reviewed this Direct as low as I've ever reviewed a Direct in the Switch era, because it did not appeal to me, they did not deliver on really any of the stuff that I was hoping for, and I felt like their new reveals were pretty lackluster in comparison to past Directs, and I don't feel like they set up the scene in 2020 for a wide audience, rather for a very narrow niche audience who are probably ecstatic, but there are going to be a lot of new Switch owners this fall who buy the Switch Lite and also who buy the OG Switch. And some of them will be in the East and some in the West and some in the North and the South, and I don't feel like they have painted the picture for 2020 as well as I would like. They haven't colored in. It's like color by numbers, and they've only given us number 1. Well, where's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? But relax, because 2019 is still great, and it still is a phenomenal year to be a Switch gamer. There's too much to play. There's too much to play, even without this Direct. I think I would have almost rather them not have a Direct if they did not have a boatload of awesome stuff. That might have been better. Or a shorter show that was denser and more focused. It just felt stretched, like they were grabbing for what can we possibly piece together in what might be their biggest fall because of Switch Lite. But maybe all of the dollars in development was so centered around Luigi's Mansion 3 and Pokemon and Zelda and getting those out and getting a new iteration of the console out and putting together some of these third-party partnerships like The Witcher 3 and Doom Eternal. Maybe that's all they had, and that's okay. But we expected a Direct, and we needed to find out some dates, and the one I'm bummed about is Outer Worlds. I wish that would have got a delay. I wish it would have got a date. I think now it's delayed to 2020, or not delayed, but just it's coming out in 2020, which is a bummer because that would have been such a sweet day and date release, or at least like a year-end date release. That would have been nice. But guys, it's looking good. It's still looking good. We're 3 weeks away from Zelda Link's Awakening, which looks cuter and more fun by the minute. And Luigi's Mansion 3 is blowing out like Mario Odyssey. I remember Mario Odyssey initially was like, are there only going to be 3 or 4 kingdoms? What is this game? And then you play the game and you're like, oh my gosh. I feel like that's Luigi's Mansion 3. We're living that all over again. It's like, cool. Okay, it's in a hotel. I could see potential. Oh my god, there's a pyramid in the hotel. There's a freaking pyramid in the hotel. That is awesome. And then how do the other characters factor in the story? There's so much multiplayer. There's like a party minigame mode. It is going to be a great buy. And then Pokemon Sword and Shield, even if today was all about gloves and hats, camping and curry, I still think that game looks super sick. And that Zacian and Zamazenta edition makes up for the missing bundles. Where were the bundles? No accessories, no bundles today. We do have cool new Joy-Con coming though, so golly, it's a good year. It's a good time. The hype hurts. It really does. And maybe I'm done paying attention to what the freaking Reset Era posters say and the Twitter users say and getting myself all worked up. I'll keep tabs on it for all of us, of course. I'm not going to let the news go by without my eye on it. But I don't think I'm going to let it sink in. I don't think I'm going to let it make me think that Pikmin is coming, because my dear Pikmin, there is permafrost over that garden. And it's not thawing. It's just not. Summer is so far away for those poor Pikmin. They have been stuck underground. And it's about time I just pull out my Wii U and play Pikmin 3. Where's the Pikmin 3 port? Where is it? What happened to the list, Emily? Where's Pikmin 3? Thought for sure we'd get that. But that's what this does to you. That's what it's like to be a Nintendo fan, a hardcore fan, a follow every morsel on the internet fan. It's a rough life for us if you buy into it and believe it. So let's focus on the awesome that is coming I was bummed by today's Direct. It wasn't really for me, but I'm curious to know your take in the comments down below. I'm not going to count down until the next one. I'm just going to enjoy the games we have and focus on all the stuff that's out there to play, because my backlog, it's big. So really, if I'm smart about this and I follow my advice from the last video, I got to keep my expectations in check and enjoy what's in front of us. And that's probably a great motto for life, but we're not going to get super sentimental. We're going to sign off because I've got a 16-hour drive tomorrow and I'm super tired, and I'm going to grab my tea. Cheers, yeah. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. It means the world to me. I've been working my butt off this month, last month. Well, I'll do it again this month. So this month. And it's just so great to have your support. I'm super glad that people are enjoying the videos, that you guys are commenting and liking and being a part of it and interacting with me on Twitter. It means the world. It's been really hard to do it solo, but I'm doing the best I can. And I thank you guys genuinely for that support and for that consistent just being there. It really means a lot. I wish that Plants vs. Zombies would have been there on Switch, but that one wasn't even rumored. It just came out of nowhere, which was crazy. Would have been such a good fit for Switch. How are you going to release Plants vs. Zombies and not put it on Switch? Oh, that's right. EA thinks that people who have Switches have other systems and don't buy multi-platform games on Switch. Ask Bethesda how it works for them. Sigh. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. What did you think of the Direct? Give me your letter grade in the comments down below. Hit that like button if you are excited for the rest of the Nintendo year, no matter about the Direct. Maybe you're more excited because this laid the groundwork for your favorite genres and franchises to return to your favorite console. Maybe you're a bum, but there's still good stuff. So smash that like button. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Until next time, SwitchForce